This will sound very strange, but a huge fire at a recycling plant in Indiana that was producing a massive toxic plume of gas that necessitated the evacuation of 2,000 people. And this fire in Indiana and the fire marshal named Steve Jones hinted at Indiana Jones, which hinted at Harrison Ford and his aviation mishaps, which hint at Kamala Harris and her predicted aviation mishap and death in a plane crash. This prophetic fire is a prophecy that is predicting that a dirty bomb will explode in Manhattan in New York City on December 2nd, 2023. And there will be a massive evacuation of Manhattan Island. It is also likely that the official narrative in the mainstream media that will emerge regarding this event will somehow be a lie. The date that this video is posted proves that this prediction was made ahead of time, as does this timestamped email and forensic notes PDF. If you are skeptical, please email me and I will forward these to you. Although it has been known since early 2021 that a dirty bomb would explode in Manhattan in the near future, as you can see in this email, this prediction for a dirty bomb explosion in Manhattan on December 2nd was known since at least September 29th. There are also many other videos on this channel that make this prediction that were posted many days before this video was posted. This video was produced prior to April 13th, 2023. If you want to understand and appreciate how the prediction that a dirty bomb will explode in Manhattan, New York City on December 2nd, 2023 is known ahead of time, it is imperative that we learn about the numerous prophetic signs that occurred on April 13th, 2023. April 13th was the climactic penultimate date in the trail of signs that is leading to the predicted date for the dirty bomb explosion and mass evacuation from Manhattan Island on December 2nd, 2023. And to understand April 13th, 2023, it is imperative that we learn about and understand the trails of prophetic signs that God used to point to April 13th. Through each of these trails of prophetic signs that God used to point to April 13th ahead of time, God told a unique, amazing, and important story that everyone needs to know. This video you are watching will explain one of these stories and their related prophetic signs that God was using to point to April 13th and ultimately December 2nd, and the predicted dirty bomb and evacuation in Manhattan. The prophetic signs on April 13th in turn pointed to May 4th. May 4th, or the date 5-4, as we now know, hints at the 54th Massachusetts Infantry Regiment, the first black regiment in the Civil War, and the reason God has used this theme is because it conveys the theme of slavery and freedom, which is the overarching theme of the Bible and of this life, and the current end times spiritual battle, the battle to end all battles, that we are all involved in right now. This is why, for example, on April 13th, the S&P 500 stock index gained 54 points, and the prophetic hockey game involving the team from Massachusetts had a final score of 5-4, which hinted at the 54th Massachusetts Regiment. This is also why, on April 13th, the 21-year-old document leaker was arrested in Massachusetts 21 days before the date 5-4, which hints at 54. In turn, the date 5-4 is 212 days to the date 12-2, December 2nd, and 12-2 hints at 212. This is because the area code of Manhattan, New York City is 212. Arguably, the most important video on this channel, at least in regards to the prediction of the dirty bomb in Manhattan, is the 54th Massachusetts Regiment video. Once the prediction comes to pass, you should know that all of the videos on this channel should be watched. However, there are a few top videos, such as the 54th Massachusetts Regiment video, the East Palestine video, the Obama Returns to the White House video, the 3 Mile Island accident video, and the Willy Wonka's Chocolate Factory video. As you watch this video that you are currently watching, keep in mind that it was produced prior to April 13th, when it was believed that it would be the date of the predicted dirty bomb in Manhattan. However, like I said, April 13th turned out to be the penultimate date in the trail of signs that led to May 4th and is leading to December 2nd. It is predicted that on April 13th, 2023, a dirty bomb will explode in Manhattan and there will be a mass evacuation of Manhattan Island due to the toxic nuclear waste from the dirty bomb. This is 2 days after April 11th, which was yesterday, when it was reported that a massive fire at a recycling plant in Indiana that produced a huge toxic plume that necessitated the evacuation of 2,000 people is pointing to the dirty bomb explosion 2 days later and the mass evacuation of Manhattan Island. This fire is believed to have been started from a semi-trailer. When the fire department arrived, they found the semi-trailer engulfed in flames. It is believed that a semi-trailer will be used in the detonation of a dirty bomb in Manhattan, which will then cause the mass evacuation of the area due to the toxic waste from the dirty bomb. On the same day that these 2,000 residents were evacuated, Michael Jordan's shoes that he wore during Game 2 of the 1998 NBA Championship sold for a record $2.2 million, and this was also 2 days before it is predicted that a dirty bomb will explode in Manhattan. And these shoes are a pair of shoes, which hints at the pair of days after they sold for $2.2 million because they were worn during Game 2. More regarding the prophetic significance of Michael Jordan's Air Jordan shoe auction is explained in the I Can't Breathe protests prophecy video on this channel. What is also interesting is that the Indiana State Fire Marshal that spoke to the press regarding the evacuation order, his name is Steve Jones. And prior to this April 11th date, it was expected that there would be a James Earl Jones related prophetic sign. Also, this fire and evacuation of 2,000 people in Indiana is 2 times 40 days. 40 days being a number of days in the Bible regarding judgment, before it is predicted that the plane of the vice president of Indian descent will be on fire on the day that her plane crashes and she will die, predicted to be on June 30th, 2023. The date of the release of the new Indiana Jones movie, starring Harrison Ford, who is 80 years old, and 2 times 40 days is 80 days. The Indiana fire marshal named Jones hints at Indiana Jones. From the day that the Indiana fire marshal, Steve Jones, spoke to the press about the fire, it is 80 days to the predicted fire of the plane of the vice president who is of Indian descent, on the day that the new Indiana Jones movie will be released. And 80 days hints at the age of the actor that is playing Indiana Jones, Harrison Ford. Harrison hints at Kamala Harris. In God's true big picture of signs, patterns, and connections, which is only being explained on this channel, the number 9 is the most important number, as from the Bible it symbolizes God's judgment. This prophetic sign in Indiana that hinted at Indiana Jones and therefore Harrison Ford and his aviation mishaps, and therefore the aviation mishap of Kamala Harris. This prophetic fire in Indiana on April 11th is exactly 9 plus 9 plus 9 weeks before the date it is predicted that Kamala Harris will die in a plane crash on October 17th, 2023. 27 weeks is an emphasis of the number 9, as it is 9 plus 9 plus 9 weeks. Also, God pairs the numbers 9 and 22 together to confirm the signs and connections. And this, by the way, is how God's true big picture of signs, patterns, and connections works. It works on the principle of second and third and multiple witnesses confirming a matter, as the Bible says is required, and that is what makes what is being explained on this channel true and not a product of one's imagination, and different and unique than everything else on the internet that claims to be an analysis of God's prophetic signs. And one simple way in which he would provide a second witness is through pairing certain numbers together, especially the number 9, and in this case with the number 22, as the number 22 is symbolic of the mark of the Antichrist. The inverse of the mark of the Antichrist, described in Ezekiel chapter 9, would have been the Tav mark, and the Tav letter is the last and 22nd letter in the Hebrew alphabet. The mark of the Antichrist is described in the last book of the Bible, which is the 22nd book out of 22 books in the Bible that have a total of 22 chapters. Kamala Harris will die in a plane crash in an area of the country near where the two eclipses will cross over each other, engendering a Tav mark, an X, over the nation. And so the 2,000 people that were evacuated 2 days before April 13th gives us hints at the number 22, and from this we have an exact 9 plus 9 plus 9 weeks connection to the date of her predicted crash, and this gives us our pairing of 9 and 22. Also, this 9 plus 9 plus 9 weeks connection connects with the $2.2 million that Jordan's two shoes sold for that he played with during Game 2, which gives us another pairing of 9 and 22. And Jordan was the GOAT, greatest of all time, of basketball. In the Bible, GOAT is Antichrist symbolism, and the basketball president is the Antichrist, and he wore jersey 23 when he played basketball in high school and is from Chicago, and Michael Jordan wore jersey 23 and played for Chicago. Also, the only president to serve non-consecutive terms, President Grover Cleveland, skipped. He was the 22nd president, and he skipped the 23rd presidency. So the 22nd president, and that presidency, the 23rd presidency, was of Benjamin Harrison, President Harrison, which is why Harrison Ford. Harrison Ford, the name is of two presidents. Ford was the only president never to have been elected vice president or president, and Harrison was skipped, the only president that served non-consecutive terms, the 22nd president. Through the death of Kamala Harris in a plane crash, an aviation mishap like Harrison Ford's aviation mishaps, will rise the Antichrist through her replacement. The Antichrist, the 44th president, who will also serve non-consecutive terms and not be elected, and thus overcome the 22nd Amendment through being appointed instead of elected. Aliens and UFOs are demons masquerading as aliens and UFOs. Most people's spiritual experiences are demonic deception, especially if they are not a true follower of Christ. God became a man and died a horrible death at the hand of the ruler of this world, Satan, and then defeated death for you, so that you too can overcome death, which is the price that must be paid for sin. It is time to repent, which means to change one's ways and turn to God and become a disciple of Jesus. Please leave a like and upvote the video, and once this prediction has come to pass, share this video with everyone you know, and more, don't stop sharing it everywhere in social media. It is essential that everyone immediately read the homepage of my website, TrumpPrediction.com. If you are watching this on the YouTube platform, please note that not all of the videos are on YouTube. you need to switch to the BitChute.com or the Odysee.com channel. And do it now in case you aren't able to later.